Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel where I give solid advice on how to deal with gang stalking coming from someone who is dealing with this from first-hand experience, who has dealt with it and has pretty much overcome the gang stalking and has figured out a way to deal with it and live a relatively peaceful and good life even with all the shit that is happening. I am not giving you advice as someone who has not been gang stalked, who just, thought about it or read some book or something and tried to give you advice. I am coming to you from the perspective of someone who is actually going through the gang stalking. And therefore, I think that you would potentially perceive my advice to be more useful to you because it's coming from someone who is actually sharing the same experience that you are going through, albeit in a slightly different, I guess, format, because they target different people in a different way. But what I want to cover in this video is the sense of paranoia that is caused by gang stalking. Now, some people, they start talking about how they're afraid that food they buy in restaurants might be used to drug them or put poison in the food, or that people break into their houses and put drugs into their food. Things like that. Now, I just need to tell you something is you need to be a little bit more analytical and cool-headed, and this is why you need to forget the gang stalking. This is precisely why, because when you get into that paranoid mode, you're gonna see everything as a threat. You're gonna think of everything around you as a way for them to get at you, to destroy you, to harm you, and so on and so forth. So let's think about this rationally. It is technically possible that these people would break into your house. First of all, the switching products in the supermarket to target you with poisoning is a little bit ridiculous because they don't know which product you're going to pick. And they can't just randomly poison all the products because that would just cause a massive issues. And I actually work in the food industry. I know what kind of massive legal problems you can get into if there's food poisoning. So you can imagine if you do this, then the supermarket might even be closed. The chain would be sued and so on and so forth. So that is completely irrational. But people claiming that maybe they access your accommodation and then put some kind of poison into your food. I mean, you need to also think about this. I mean, do you just leave your food lying around? I mean, like I have fruits and vegetables. How can they poison that, right? I have a lot of canned food or things that are packaged, fruits, vegetables, and packages, things like bread. There's very little liquid things. There's maybe some liquid like milk or water, but then like the water I keep in my room, milk, okay, maybe they could poison that, but I mean, by the way, if someone is poisoning you, usually you would feel some kind of symptom of poisoning, like you would start to have some kind of symptom. If it's the drugging thing, then you will feel drowsy. By the way, how much can they control? I mean, if they come into your place and they just randomly poison things, then they don't know when you are being affected by the poison. So it's not a particularly effective way to poison someone, even though, anyway. But if they were trying to kill you, then for sure you would start to soon see some kind of symptoms that you're being poisoned. I don't know, something serious like vomiting, blood in your stool, bleeding from the nose, massive headaches, something very serious happening to you. It depends on what poison they're using, of course, and so on and so forth. But I would say don't worry too much about it because you don't want to live in fear. Remember what I said? Live like a lion. Living like a lion means you don't get afraid. You don't fear nothing. Yeah, sure. People can technically, everything is possible. Heck, you could be crossing the street right now and you get run down by a car. Doesn't mean that I'm not gonna cross the street. I'm gonna cross the street. even though that chance could happen. It's 0.000 whatever, but I'm not gonna be afraid, right? So there's no point for you to live in fear. If they want to do this and there's nothing you can do about it, then let it happen. But I'm telling you that in most likelihood it is not happening. So this is just all a form of gaslighting, to induce some kind of paranoia in you. They tried to do it to me a lot of times before, to make me think that they could get access into my room, because I was staying in a hotel, and they would just pass by and they would just, because the hotel has like these cards that you can like swipe and then you enter the room, and they would just pass by and they would kind of swipe the card on my scanner to kind of make me believe that they could enter the room at any moment and do something, you know, maybe attack me or whatever. But of course, I didn't really care, and of course, nothing happened. You know, because something happened, I would know. If someone assaulted me, then I would know, right? It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. That, you know, any kind of assault, even if it's sexual in nature, and this is, I guess, probably something that you can is more appropriate for the ladies. That if someone was sexually assaulting you, you know, first of all, if they enter your room at night, then in most likelihood you're going to wake up because you're going to sense that there's someone entering your room. You know what I mean? You're not just gonna ignore it, let's say. Another thing is they would need to put something in you to make sure that you go to sleep and you don't wake up. And we've already ascertained they have no way of poisoning you, or I guess they have no way of poisoning you accurately in a way that you faint. And of course, if you do faint, then you would remember the moment when you lost consciousness, which will seem very odd to you. But I mean, regardless of all of that, I mean, what could they do? They can come into your room and just stab you with a needle. You know what I mean? Then you will find needle marks the next day. And either way, you would find symptoms of being assaulted. You know, there would be semen all over you, there would be dirt, there would be torn clothes, there would be bruising, there would be, I don't know, rashes, you know, pain in your private areas, something, you know what I mean, that can prove that you were assaulted. So don't go down this route of thinking that I was assaulted, or they're trying to assault me, or they're trying to drug me and all that. If something happens, do take action, but in most likelihood, nothing will happen to you. I can assure you that. I mean, of course, I don't know to what extent people are being targeted, by the way, in different parts of the world. It seems like the individual experience is different from one person to another. But from what I can ascertain, the common thread that I have understood is no-touch torture. This is the common thread that I have picked up on, is that they don't tend to do anything physical. It tends to all be mental, psychological. So the best way you can do it is to counter it, is to ignore it. And of course, with time, it will be meaningless. And another thing you need to consider is, by the way, there are examples of gang stalking. You know, Donald Trump. People don't like Donald Trump. Donald Trump is being gang stalked. I'm not kidding you. Donald Trump is being gang stalked. I mean, Donald Trump is a very famous man. He's also a very busy man. And a lot of people hate him. Anywhere he goes, he has people talking about him, talking shit about him behind his back all the time, because he's really famous. You know, I'm sure he's being pestered all the time by news and paparazzis and all kinds of people, similar to street theater. Heck, people write, you know, all kinds of shit about him on the news, on social media, everywhere. Caricatures are made of him. He's mocked, heck, even on television. but he doesn't care, right? He soldiers on and he says, okay, whatever, and he just, you know, he does what he needs to do. He's president of the United States, and that's it. And he's the head of the Trump organization, and he goes golfing, and he does all the things that he needs to do, and lobbying, and blah, 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 blah. And he doesn't care, and all these people are making fun of him and saying blah, 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 whatever they want to say about him. He doesn't care, right? So technically speaking, someone like Trump is being gang-stalked. So you just need to cultivate the same mindset that I am like a celebrity. I am like George Clooney. Okay, I have people talking shit about me. I have people that seem to know a lot of things about me. Now, of course, it doesn't make sense because there is a difference that, okay, Trump has actually cultivated a type of fame through his actions and lifestyle, whilst we did not. So there's a lack of explanation as to how all these people seem to know us. But beside that, you know, in the end, it's not that big of a deal, really. If you really go to the bottom of it, it's not that big of a deal. So, yeah, that's just my 2 cents on the whole paranoia thing. Don't worry too much about it. Nobody's doing anything to you. You know, if someone tried to touch you or something like that, trust me, your natural reflex would be to do something about it. And of course, if you're careful about, you know, as long as you don't take drinks from random strangers or some shit like that, then you should be okay. You know what I mean? Anyway, that was just a little advice about the whole paranoia thing, and hope you guys are keeping strong and taking this advice seriously and applying it, because it really is the best way to fight this stuff. I've noticed massive changes in my life so far. I feel much more in control of my life. I got my friends, I got my family. Soon going to be employed. Just everything is falling into place, and these people can do whatever they want to do. I don't really care, you know? They can talk, they can jeer, they can laugh, they can mock, they can do anything they want. I do not care. It does not matter to me in any way, shape, or form. Because these people are strangers as far as I'm concerned. They're not my friends, they're not my buddies. I don't care what they say or do. They have no relevance to me. And plus, nothing was said to my face anyhow. And mind you, another thing you need to know is a lot of people are very judgmental anyway. They will judge you for all kinds of things that, you know, they'll be very cruel and harsh in the way they judge you. They will not see the positive things about you because they don't like you. They're not your friends. They don't care about you, and they don't know you, so they don't know the positive things in you. They can only see the negative things, the image that they have in their, and then of course this whole issue with insecurities and anger and blah 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 and jealousy and envy, which gets which plays a part as well. Anyway, you guys have a nice day, and wherever you are in the world, and just take care of yourselves, okay?